Let's start by destroying the biggest lie you've been told about your mental state. You've been taught that depression is some mysterious monster that attacks randomly, that it just shows up one day and ruins your life. That's convenient because it removes responsibility. But the truth is far more uncomfortable. Depression doesn't usually come from hardship. It comes from comfort, from too much ease, from a life with no pressure, no demand, no requirement for greatness. Look at how you live. Be honest. You wake up when you want. You eat whatever tastes good. You avoid effort whenever possible. You sit still for hours, scrolling through other people's lives, comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reels. Your body barely moves, your mind never rests, and your spirit is completely bored. Then you sit there and ask yourself why you feel heavy, empty, tired, unmotivated. That heaviness isn't sadness. It's stagnation. The human mind was not designed for endless comfort. It was built to hunt, to build, to fight, to solve, to endure. When you remove challenge, the brain doesn't relax, it panics. Because a brain with no external enemy will create an internal one. That's when self-doubt appears. That's when anxiety whispers. That's when depression settles in and makes itself at home. Comfort is seductive. It feels harmless. It feels deserved. You tell yourself you've had a long day, so you earn rest. You tell yourself tomorrow will be different. But tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next year. And suddenly, you're not just comfortable. You're stuck. Comfort doesn't hurt you immediately. It slowly erodes your self-respect. And when a man loses respect for himself, his own mind turns against him. Every time you choose the easy option over the hard one, something inside you weakens. Every time you avoid discomfort, you reinforce the identity of someone who runs instead of confronts. You may not notice it at first, but your subconscious notices everything. It keeps score. And eventually, it delivers the verdict. That verdict is the feeling you label as depression. This is why people who live soft lives feel the most mentally broken. They have food, shelter, entertainment, and safety, yet they feel empty. Meanwhile, people who are fighting for something meaningful often feel alive even in pain. The difference is not chemicals. It's purpose under pressure. Comfort tells you to sit down. Discipline tells you to stand up. Comfort tells you to numb the pain. Discipline tells you to use it. Comfort says you deserve rest. Discipline asks what you've done to earn pride. One leads to temporary pleasure followed by long-term emptiness. The other leads to temporary suffering followed by deep self-respect. Your depression isn't attacking you. It's signaling you. It's telling you that your days lack intensity, your actions lack meaning, and your life lacks direction. It's the alarm that goes off when a man is living far below his potential. And instead of turning off the alarm and going back to sleep, you're supposed to wake up. You don't fix this by talking endlessly about your feelings. You fix it by giving your mind something harder to deal with than its own thoughts. Physical exertion, relentless goals, non-negotiable standards, a routine that forces you to show up even when you don't feel like it. Feelings follow action, not the other way around. When you wake up early, when you train your body, when you do difficult things daily, something incredible happens. Your mind quiets down, not because life is perfect, but because you're finally acting like someone who can handle imperfection. The noise fades when you prove to yourself that you are capable. Comfort makes you fragile. Fragility invites fear. Fear feeds depression. Strength does the opposite. Strength builds confidence. Confidence creates calm. Calm kills depression at the root. If your life is easy and your mind is miserable, that's not a coincidence. That's the cost of comfort. And the only way out is through voluntary hardship, chosen struggle, and disciplined action that rebuilds your respect for yourself. Because the moment you start demanding more from yourself, your mind begins to follow, your energy returns, your posture changes, your eyes sharpen. And that dark cloud you thought was permanent starts to disappear, not because it was treated, but because it was no longer needed. The hardest truth most men refuse to face is this: depression is rarely caused by circumstances outside your control. It's caused by the absence of a mission, a goal, a purpose that demands everything from you. When a man doesn't have a purpose, his mind doesn't rest, it revolts. Every thought becomes a saboteur, every moment feels empty, every day blends into the next with nothing to show for it. Your brain was built to focus, to conquer, to solve problems, but when there's nothing meaningful to solve, it turns inward. And suddenly you're at war with yourself. Think about it for a second. The most miserable people you know aren't necessarily those with the hardest lives. They're often the ones who do the least with the life they have. They scroll endlessly through social media, comparing themselves to others who appear to be achieving more. They complain, they fantasize about success, but they never act, and their brains know it. Your mind doesn't tolerate laziness for long. It knows when you are wasting the potential that exists within you. It starts whispering, nagging, accusing. You feel anxious, frustrated, hollow, and you label it as depression. But really, it's your purpose. Starved mind trying to wake you up. Purpose is like fuel. Without it, your thoughts turn against you. They become cruel, self-judging, and repetitive. You wake up in the morning and feel anxious before you even start your day because there's nothing big enough to focus on, nothing meaningful enough to fight for. That's why people without purpose feel tired, even when they sleep, restless, even when they do nothing. Their mind is starving for a challenge, and in its hunger, it devours their peace. Every great man in history has known this. They understood that without a mission, life loses all color. Pain feels pointless, suffering becomes unbearable, and even pleasure loses meaning. Your ancestors lived with danger and responsibility, so their minds were always occupied, always tasked, always building something. You live with comfort and convenience, so your mind spins, creating its own problems when no real ones exist. That spinning is what people mislabel as depression. It's the mind demanding direction and finding none. The solution is brutal but simple. You don't wait for inspiration to strike. You don't meditate your way out of emptiness. You create a purpose so massive, so consuming, that every ounce of your energy is spent chasing it. That goal doesn't have to be recognized by the world. It doesn't need to earn you fame or money immediately. It only needs to demand that you push yourself past excuses, past laziness, past fear. When your mission becomes bigger than your mind's complaints, the mental fog lifts. The anxiety that felt inescapable disappears. Depression has no room to grow because your thoughts are no longer aimless. They are engaged in battle and victory. Your purpose gives pain meaning. Without it, pain feels like a punishment. With it, pain becomes a teacher, a fuel, a test you can conquer. People think they need therapy, pills, or someone else's advice to fix their depression, but what they really need is a reason to wake up that excites them more than scrolling through meaningless distractions. When you commit to a goal that scares you, that challenges you, that demands your absolute best, your mind shifts from self-attack to self-empowerment. Your energy returns, your focus sharpens, your anxiety fades. You start moving, and movement cures emptiness. Living without purpose is like drifting in a stormy sea with no oars. Every wave feels like it's trying to drown you because you're not steering. The only way to survive and thrive is to grab hold of a mission and row so hard that the storm has no choice but to respect your direction. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be approved. It just has to matter to you. That is the antidote to a mind turned inward against you, the cure to the restless thoughts that keep you awake, the answer to the emptiness that masquerades as depression. When you finally discover what you are here to do, you stop existing for comfort and start living for challenge. You stop looking for excuses and start hunting solutions. You stop blaming the world and start conquering it. The mental chains of apathy and doubt begin to fall away because your brain finally has a battlefield worthy of its energy. It's not easy. Nothing that matters ever is. And the deeper you dig into your purpose, the heavier the demands, the sharper the growth, the more alive you will feel, and the more your mind will cease its rebellion against you. Your mind is not some mystical thing floating above your body. It is a machine, precise, reactive, and brutally honest. It learns what you teach it, and it punishes what you ignore. If you wake up with no structure, no rules, and no discipline, you are programming your brain to be weak, fragile, and restless. Every small decision you avoid, every promise to yourself that you break, every lazy moment you excuse as, well, I deserve it, is a brick in the cage that will imprison your mind. The stronger your routine, the stronger your mental state. The weaker your routine, the weaker your brain becomes. And a weak brain is the playground for depression, anxiety, and self-loathing. Look at your mornings. How do you start your day? Do you wake up at the last possible moment and scroll your phone before brushing your teeth? Do you grab whatever food is easiest rather than what fuels your body? Do you sit on the couch thinking about what you might do today? Every one of these small choices seems insignificant, but they are not. They train your mind to seek ease, to avoid responsibility, and to accept mediocrity. Your habits repeated over days, weeks, and months are the foundations of your mental state. If your foundations are soft and unstructured, your brain becomes soft and unstructured. A weak routine produces a weak man, and a weak man produces a weak mind. Now imagine the opposite. You wake up at the same time every day, regardless of motivation. You move your body, fuel it with what it needs, and begin your day with deliberate action. You set rules for yourself and enforce them without exception. Your mind recognizes this consistency. It knows what to expect. It begins to operate with clarity, precision, and strength. It stops spinning in circles with anxiety or self-pity because it is busy executing commands, solving problems, and building results. A disciplined routine doesn't just structure your day, it shapes your brain. Most men underestimate how much routine matters. They think freedom means doing whatever they want whenever they want. They confuse chaos with liberty. But the truth is, freedom without structure is emptiness. It is the soil in which doubt, fear, and depression grow. When there is no framework to your life, your brain creates one, often filled with worry, regret, and criticism. You become a victim of your own mental chaos because you never taught yourself to act with purpose. And consistency, discipline in your daily routine, is more than just waking up early or exercising. It's about keeping promises to yourself that nobody else will hold you accountable for. It's about showing up for your own life consistently, even when you don't feel like it. Every time you break a promise to yourself, your brain takes note. Every skipped workout, every avoided task, every lazy morning chips away at your self-respect. And when self-respect erodes, the mind begins to attack itself. That attack is what most people call depression. It's not a chemical imbalance. It's the natural result of ignoring your responsibilities to yourself. Routine gives your mind a battlefield. Without it, your thoughts run wild. They create imaginary enemies, inflate problems, and magnify insecurities. But when you impose a strong routine, your mind has real problems to focus on. You are building, producing, achieving, pushing against resistance. You are exercising control over your environment, your body, and your mind. The energy that would have been wasted on doubt and self-hate is now directed toward action. And action, consistently applied, destroys weakness. Your mental state mirrors your daily habits more than your circumstances. You could have the perfect job, the perfect family, and endless comfort, yet if your routine is weak, your mind will find reasons to be restless, anxious, and empty. Conversely, even in hardship, a man with a strong, disciplined routine can maintain clarity, confidence, and resilience. That is why the strongest men in history were not always the luckiest. They were consistent. Their routines forged mental toughness, and mental toughness created results, purpose, and freedom. You must understand this. Your mind is a reflection of your daily actions. The moments you consider small and insignificant, waking up on time, training your body, completing your work without complaint, are the foundation of your mental strength. Weak routines create weak men. Weak men create weak minds. And weak minds create misery disguised as depression. Discipline is not a punishment. It is the mechanism by which you reclaim control over your thoughts, your emotions, and your life. The stronger your habits, the sharper your mind becomes, the lighter your mental load, and the more alive you feel. Take a look around you. Everything in modern life is built to keep you small, weak, and distracted. Convenience has replaced challenge. Comfort has replaced courage. Technology has replaced action. And if you don't recognize it, if you don't resist it, it will quietly destroy your mind and spirit while you scroll through your phone, telling yourself you're just relaxing. Depression is not random. It is often the natural consequence of living in a world designed to make you soft. Every notification, every endless scroll, every bingeable series, every comfort food you grab without thought. It is engineered to keep you passive. Modern society wants you to sit down, shut up, and accept mediocrity. They don't want you to think, to challenge, or to become dangerous. Weak men are easier to manage, easier to control, and easier to sell things to. They are predictable. They don't disrupt the system. They don't question authority. They don't demand more from life. They accept the slow erosion of their potential as normal. And when they feel empty, society has a million solutions to distract them: apps, therapy, supplements, endless entertainment. None of it addresses the real problem. The problem is not inside you, it is outside you. Modern life is built to numb ambition. You wake up with access to everything, yet you feel like you have nothing. Why? Because every comfort you've been given was never meant to empower you. It was meant to entertain you. It was meant to distract you. Your brain was never challenged like your ancestors. Your ancestors had real stakes: life, death, survival, danger. They had to fight for everything they achieved. You fight for nothing. You are given everything, yet you feel miserable. That's not coincidence. That is the design of this modern world. And here's the harsh truth: if you keep living like this, you will break yourself. Slowly, quietly, without realizing it. The endless choices, the comfort, the lack of struggle, the artificial problems of social media and entertainment, they accumulate like poison. Your mind turns inward. Your energy dissipates. Your confidence erodes. And you call it depression, anxiety, emptiness. It is not random. It is manufactured by the very life you think is normal. The only way to fight back is to recognize it. To see that comfort is the enemy. To understand that the world is designed to keep you small and you have to deliberately reject it, you must introduce voluntary discomfort into your life. You must create challenges for yourself that are harder than anything society will ever demand of you. You must build routines that demand excellence, habits that sharpen the mind, and goals that terrify and excite you at the same time. The moment you start doing things that matter to you, things that require real effort, your mind stops attacking you. It stops turning inward. It starts aligning with purpose. Most people misunderstand this. They think depression is something to medicate or avoid. They think the solution is to relax more, to escape more, to take a break. But that only feeds the problem. You cannot escape a mind that was built to conquer by avoiding its natural function. Your brain was designed to work, to solve, to struggle, and to fight. When you remove all challenges, it revolts against you. It creates enemies that do not exist, problems that are inflated, fears that are amplified. And the result is emotional pain, which society conveniently labels as illness so that they can sell you comfort as the cure. This is why men who deliberately seek challenge, who embrace discomfort, who reject the soft life, are the ones who feel alive even in chaos. They understand that modern life is not their friend. It is a system designed to break them unless they become stronger, sharper, and more disciplined than the system itself. They create their own battles. They push their bodies to the limit. They set impossible goals. They expose themselves to failure and pain on purpose. And in doing so, they reclaim control over their mind. Their energy becomes unstoppable. Their focus becomes unbreakable. Their sense of purpose becomes unshakable. Modern life is seductive because it promises ease, but ease is a trap. Every comfort you accept without earning it chips away at your potential. Every shortcut you take teaches your mind that weakness is acceptable. Every instant gratification you indulge in teaches your brain that patience, discipline, and effort are unnecessary. And when the mind is trained in weakness, depression follows naturally. It is the logical outcome of living soft in a world built to dull your edge. The fight is clear. If you want to escape this trap, you must reject what society feeds you, deliberately create hardship, demand more from yourself than the world demands, and embrace challenges that others avoid. Only then does your mind stop revolting. Only then do you start living instead of drifting. Only then do you reclaim your energy, your purpose, and your strength. Pain is unavoidable. Life guarantees it. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, or how much comfort you surround yourself with. Pain will come. The question is not whether you will experience pain, it is how you respond to it. Most people live their entire lives trying to avoid pain, thinking that if they escape discomfort, but that is a trap, and it is why so many men wake up feeling hollow, anxious, and broken. Pain is mandatory, suffering is optional, and the difference between the two lies in how you confront life. Think about it. Every great man in history faced extreme pain, physical, emotional, mental, and yet they thrived. Why? Not because they avoided pain, but because they faced it on their own terms. Pain in itself is neutral. It is just a signal, a test, a challenge. Suffering comes when you ignore the signal. when you let pain control your thoughts, when you refuse to learn from it or grow through it. Pain is a teacher. Suffering is a prison of your own making. Most men choose to suffer because it feels safer to complain than to act. Most men believe comfort is the opposite of pain. They chase pleasure, avoiding effort, ignoring responsibility, thinking that life should be easy. But ease is a lie. Ease is silent, slow, and destructive. When you avoid pain, your mind doesn't rest. It becomes restless. It invents enemies. It magnifies your fears. It turns every small failure into a monumental catastrophe. And that is how weakness turns into suffering. Weak men are not broken because life is cruel. They are broken because they refuse to confront pain and transform it into power. Pain is the natural order of life. It comes whether you like it or not. Discipline brings pain, but the pain of discipline is deliberate. Exercise hurts. Early mornings hurt. Confronting difficult conversations hurts. Doing what others avoid hurts. But that pain builds strength, confidence, and self-respect. That pain teaches you that you are capable. The same pain left unchecked becomes suffering. Avoided, resisted, ignored, pain festers. It poisons your mind. It feeds depression. It traps you in self-doubt and fear. Choosing to face pain transforms it into a tool. Refusing to face it transforms it into a weapon pointed at yourself. Look at your life today. How much of your suffering comes from circumstances, and how much comes from your avoidance of discomfort? You wake up tired, anxious, frustrated, not because life is unfair, but because you have trained yourself to avoid the lessons embedded in pain. Every skipped workout, every difficult conversation ignored, every challenge avoided compounds. The suffering is not outside you. It is inside you. You are your own jailer, and your prison is made of your unwillingness to face the natural discomfort that builds strength. The choice is yours. You can embrace pain as a tool for growth, or you can run from it and suffer endlessly. Pain is feedback. Pain is a test. Pain is life reminding you that you are here to become something stronger than your fears. Men who understand this do not run from struggle. They seek it. They push their bodies past exhaustion. They push their minds past fear. They take responsibility for every difficulty they encounter and refuse to be broken by it. Every failure becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes fuel. Every moment of discomfort becomes a building block for power, confidence, and resilience. Suffering is what happens when you pretend pain doesn't exist. When you tell yourself that life should be easier, that the world owes you comfort, that happiness can exist without effort. That is the choice most men make unconsciously, and it is why they feel trapped, anxious, and depressed. The truth is brutal but liberating. You cannot control the arrival of pain, but you can control your response. You can choose to convert pain into growth, to transform discomfort into discipline, and to face the challenges that others avoid. That choice separates weak men from strong men, broken men from unbreakable men, the ordinary from the extraordinary. The world will never stop testing you. People will disappoint you. Circumstances will challenge you. Your body will fail you. Your mind will resist. Pain will arrive in forms you cannot predict, but how you handle it is entirely within your control. You can let it crush you, or you can let it mold you. You can run from it, creating years of suffering, or you can step into it, creating strength, confidence, and freedom. Pain is mandatory, life is inevitable, and suffering is optional. The men who master this understand that the difference between misery and power is not circumstance, but choice. If you want to end the cycle of emptiness, self-doubt, and depression, you need to understand one simple truth: weakness attracts misery, and strength destroys it. The only way to truly protect your mind from despair is to become dangerous, not violent, not reckless, not destructive, but dangerous in the sense that your potential, your presence, and your abilities cannot be ignored or dismissed. A dangerous man commands respect from the world, but more importantly, he commands respect from himself. And that self-respect is the foundation of a strong mind. Think about what it means to be dangerous. It means having a body that can endure, a mind that can think clearly under pressure, and a spirit that refuses to be broken by circumstances. Dangerous men do not fear life because they have prepared for it. They have trained for it. They have faced their weaknesses, their fears, their excuses, and refuse to let them control the outcome of their lives. The energy that once fueled anxiety, depression, and self-pity is now redirected toward mastery, competence, and action. Most men live weak lives, hiding behind excuses, technology, comfort, and distraction. They wait for life to happen to them, hoping someone else will fix their problems or inspire them to act. Dangerous men do the opposite. They take responsibility for everything. They do not wait for permission. They do not rely on luck, and they do not avoid challenges. They seek them out because they understand that every challenge overcome is proof that they are capable, proof that they are growing, proof that no circumstance can control their mind. The more dangerous you become, the less space there is for depression, because weakness cannot exist where strength dominates. Being dangerous is also about becoming unshakable mentally. When your mind is trained to solve problems, endure stress, and focus relentlessly on goals, fear and anxiety have no room to grow. A man who has proven to himself that he can survive discomfort, pain, and resistance will not be mentally defeated by setbacks or external criticism. His brain recognizes competence as security. His body recognizes discipline as protection. His spirit recognizes challenge as fuel. That is how a dangerous man becomes mentally unstoppable. Physical strength is part of this, but it is not the whole picture. A dangerous man is dangerous in multiple dimensions. He can move fast when required. He can think strategically when pressured. He can handle conflict without panic. And he can maintain focus on long-term goals when the world attempts to distract him. Each layer of skill, endurance, and self-mastery increases his capacity to face life's difficulties without collapsing under them. Weak men cannot understand this because they never measure themselves against real standards. Dangerous men live in reality, and reality is tough, relentless, and unforgiving. Facing it every day builds a mind that refuses to break. Most importantly, dangerous men are dangerous to the lies they once believed about themselves. They refuse to accept that they are too tired, too weak, too small, or too unworthy to change their lives. They destroy the mental narratives that allowed fear, anxiety, and depression to take root. Every act of discipline, every challenge faced, every goal completed is a declaration that they will not be defeated by weakness, circumstance, or opinion. Dangerous men create their own rules because they understand that the world will not give them strength. It must be taken, earned, and proven. Depression cannot survive in a dangerous man's life because there is no space for it. A man who has trained his body, sharpened his mind, and taken responsibility for his destiny is not preoccupied with what he lacks. He is occupied with what he is building, what he is conquering, and who he is becoming. Anxiety disappears when action replaces hesitation. Fear disappears when competence replaces uncertainty. Emptiness disappears when purpose replaces aimlessness. Dangerous men carry a weight that is real, meaningful, and theirs, and that weight strengthens rather than crushes them. You must understand that becoming dangerous is not about being better than someone else. It is about becoming better than your previous self. It is about forcing yourself into situations that test every limit, every weakness, and every fear. It is about refusing to settle for comfort, mediocrity, or approval. Dangerous men do what others avoid. They act when others hesitate. They endure when others quit. They conquer when others complain. That is why becoming dangerous is the ultimate cure for the emptiness that masquerades as depression. When you know you can handle chaos, danger, and challenge, nothing outside your control can shake you. You become unstoppable, unbreakable, and free. Now you understand the brutal truth that most people refuse to face. Depression is not a random attack. It is the natural result of weakness, comfort, aimlessness, and avoidance. Your mind turns on you because you have given it nothing worthy of focus. Your routines are soft, your challenges are few, your habits lack discipline, and your life is built around ease instead of effort. The modern world is designed to keep you small, to distract you, and to make weakness feel normal. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. And the ultimate cure is not comfort, not escape, and not waiting for someone else to fix your life. It is becoming dangerous. Becoming dangerous means reclaiming control over your mind, body, and spirit. It means creating a purpose that dominates your thoughts, embracing discipline that strengthens your self-respect, and seeking challenges that push you beyond fear. It means transforming pain into growth, discomfort into opportunity, and weakness into power. When you commit to this path, the emptiness that once haunted you will vanish, because your life will no longer be defined by avoidance or passivity. It will be defined by action, strength, and relentless pursuit of your potential. Every step you take toward discipline, every challenge you face deliberately, every promise you keep to yourself builds a mind that refuses to break. Depression, anxiety, fear, and self-doubt thrive where weakness resides, but they cannot survive in a man who has become dangerous. Your life was never meant to be easy. It was meant to test you, shape you, and demand your best. When you embrace that truth, you stop asking why you feel broken and start asking what you are going to do about it. This is not a motivational cliche. This is reality. Strength, purpose, and discipline are the antidotes to despair. The choice is yours: remain soft, distracted, and controlled by circumstance, or rise up, take responsibility, and become a man so strong, so capable, and so dangerous that nothing outside your control can touch your mind or steal your energy. The path is hard, but every step forward rewires your mind, rebuilds your confidence, and restores the respect you must have for yourself. Depression is not permanent. Weakness is not destiny. Comfort is not safety. The only true cure lies in action, in challenge, in becoming dangerous. A life built on discipline, purpose, and deliberate struggle cannot be defeated, and once you walk that path, you will never see yourself or your life the same way again.